So, everyone's reviewing paper right now. I thought I'd jump on the hype train, give my 2 cents. First things first, let's go down the old list here. There's toilet paper. Not reviewing that one. Paper towels. Tissue paper. Both the type you use on your nose and the type you put in gift bags. And it looks pretty. Printing paper. Just regular old 8x11 paper. Sand paper, which I don't have any, so couldn't review that. There's just so many different types of paper. Most important thing, does it make music good? Well, I didn't think I could do that so awfully. We're starting off with some of the rustle from the tissue paper here in Ableton, making it abstract, as abstract as possible from the original paper, because this itself isn't really, that interesting. So what I did was add a flanger here with a random shape going at a rate of quarter note. Full pretty much entire feedback with 7 millisecond delay time. So this is what it sounds like. You kind of have some of that rustle in the background, but most of what you're hearing is the feedback giving some tones, some resonant tones. Then I have the overdrive and an echo here. So it's a mid-side. So in the middle, in exact center panning, there's one going off at a quarter note, and then you have one pan both right and left going at an eighth note. And that switches, the eighth note switches to a quarter note every 2 bars, every 2 measures. Yeah. So it starts synchronized and then goes back into synchronization and then out of sync, so on and so forth. And then I have this right here, this corpus, which if you haven't used Ableton, you probably don't know what it is just based off of the name. But I mean, from what I can hear, I don't know. I didn't read any guides on it or anything, but it's basically just a resonator. So here, I'll demonstrate it real quick. This is the flanging effect on the rustle, and then here's with the corpus. I originally wanted to take this opportunity of working with such quiet noises to see if I could make something similar to Matmos, which they make this sample-based music. I'd say a majority of their tracks are kind of using very subtle sounds. I mean, they sampled neurotransmitters going off somehow with some sort of amplification system. So they've used really quiet sounds, and they, make these soundscapes. So I definitely want to make something that's kind of like that. I don't know. At this point, it's just kind of gone off the rails. So we're going to continue going with it. I'm going to see if I can get a melody going here. Alright, so I'm back. I'm just going to go over real quick what I did. I did quite a bit It's a little bit different than what I started with. First things first, when I was playing around with the melodies, I was actually, because I wanted to do everything as far as synths from the ground up, so I wanted to make my own patches in Serum in front of you all, so you can kind of get an idea of how I did it, because I want to do some wavetable stuff with the paper and stuff like that. So I just kept it to these basic triangle waves and just built the pitches, just focused on the pitches themselves, and I'll get into timbre now. So instead of using just Serum to come up with the melodic ideas, I actually ended up using this app that I have on my phone. It's kind of like a steel drum, so it has tuned pitches, and you can select whatever key, whatever mode you want to do it in. So I actually ended up doing this weird key here. It's called Nyavent. I'm not really sure where it comes from, but it sounded interesting, and actually the basis for the key was on here. I really liked this part with, the rustles through the flanger, through the echo, through this resonator here. So I really liked that sound, and I wanted to kind of keep it in key as possible. So I ended up building these chords over here, this like chord progression on top of the fact that this section primarily here with the resonance on it hits G sharp or A flat, so you can't really hit it. You can't really see it right here because it's like freaking out. But earlier when I was messing around with the tuner, it was primarily hitting A flat or G sharp. So that's this section, but there's a key change. So this actually is a half step down. So this is in G. It's in the same key, but it's a half step down. So it starts. Da, da, da. So it kind of goes through this cycle here, and you'll notice that I took the flanger effect off of this because it became really distracting from what I wanted it to build up to. So I just kept it with the echo and the distortion, and it kind of sounds like the ocean, which I'm not I didn't really aim for that to happen. I don't know, that might change actually. Not a huge fan of it, but I think it sounds nice, and it kind of, I don't know, I'll find meaning in it later, or I'll change it. Or not. I won't find meaning in it, and I'll keep it. I don't know. So it goes through this cycle here. I'll turn off the metronome. And then bang. Key change. So that's the chord progression I wanted to build up to. And that's pretty much this is almost entirely functional. I'm not a huge fan of how this sounds. Again, a lot of the stuff might end up changing. Like earlier, I just completely took out the flanger effect. It's like a cycle thing. So we'll figure it out once it gets into the timbre. Like once I start messing around with timbre, which is what we're going to do now. So I'm going to go through all of this. I just remembered I wanted to do something with the wavetable with some of this stuff. I think that's me hitting the towel. Or not. Yeah, this is towel. This is towel. Alright, let's try it. Let's try this. Yes. See, there we go. Alright, I kinda like that. This sounds like it could kind of be a rap song. Cheesy ass trap songs. I don't know if I like this. Yeah, let me see. Let's see if we can do something about this. Howdy. Let's get rid of the pitch. Dun, 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 dun. And I understand that this is probably the worst way to get a melody, because this is kind of like, this is pitch, right? But honestly, I just like the sound of it so much better. So I'm gonna stick with it. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, let's get some samples and load them up on the Electron. All right, so I came out with 6 samples here. We have a crimple, me punching a hole in paper with a pencil, pen scribble, pen draw 1, pen draw 2, and a rip. So we're gonna load those up on the Electron. Okay, so now that is all pretty much finished, I decided that I wanted to keep the song relatively short. I'll go over what I did with the drum machine. So for the kick, I actually just used the stock kick sound. I didn't use anything from the paper samples onto the snare drum. I actually used the hole punch with the pencil as the base of it, and then I used some of the noise from the analog rhythm, and that's pretty much that. I suppose we could just go in chronological order of like when the sound appears. So here, this right here is pretty simple. It's just tearing of the paper. It's that sample, and then there's an LFO controlling the frequency cutoff of a low pass filter, so that gives it the warbly effect. And then right up here, we have scribbles, and the only other thing going on besides the sample, it's just an LFO on the pitch of the sample. So it's just giving it a little tuning back and forth. It's nothing too noticeable. Last but not least, we also have some pen strokes here. So this is counteracting the scribbles as well as each other. So we have 2 of the samples, the 2 pen stroke samples we have. They're both, one is playing on the strong beat and the other is playing on the off beat. It's just 8th notes really. So that's the first one, and that's kind of going in conjunction with the scribbles here. And then later I introduced the other sample along with a clapping sound from the Electron. So it's got that feeling, you know. And so that's pretty much it. I was thinking about doing vocals when I was starting this project, and I was thinking about making it like a more full song. I wouldn't call this a long. Obviously, this song is very long, but I think it was a nice challenge. It was fun. I don't think I want to mess it up too much. I like where it is. So yeah, enjoy the full song.